Hello there YouTube, I'm Wheelchair21 and on today's rolling review we are looking at the Bandai Tamashii Nations S.H.Figuarts Shinkocchou Seihou Masked Rider 1, preferably called Kamen Rider Ichigo. Now, honestly, I greatly looked forward to this release ever since the Seihou line was announced, due to the fact I've kind of skipped out on previous alliterations of Ichigo besides Kamen Rider Ichigo from the 2016 movie, and to now finally have a more definitive version of the original suit and character is great to have. As we can see, it has the typical Shinkocchou Seihou box, and on the back, our typical Shinkocchou Seihou artwork and box art. Now, for our interior, the first layer is obviously Ichigo himself, which honestly looks splendid and great. The second tier is your 4 pairs of additional hands, a scarf, and optional antenna. From what I understand and been able to make out from the instructions, these are in case of the actual ones already on your figure break, and these are just spares just to have as backups, which makes me very cautious already. Now, removing the figure from box, one will easily realize that the scarf that is attached to it in package is actually the flowing scarf. This is the scarf or muffler, whichever you want to call it. In America, we call it scarves. In Japan, they call them mufflers. Actually, this is the flowing one that you would probably have when he's jumping, when he's kicking, when he's riding the cyclone. Whereas this one right here is the more traditional, just hanging for, you know, basic display purposes. And honestly, I gotta say, it kind of does suck that they did fashion it that you have to put this on once you get it out of the box to give it the more stoic, just stance like we have right here. However, besides that one little slight knock towards packaging the figure, it is one beautiful SOB. Like, once I had this in hand, I was just awestruck. It is just beautiful, and it is simply gorgeous. Let's get down to it, though. First off, with the original Ichigo, it used nice shades of greens, blacks, silvers, and reds. Honestly, some of these reds are practically an orange in some scale or grade, and honestly, it's one badass thing. One thing I like are the pinstripes, the silver going to the actual gloves and the boots. It really stands out, even to the fact that we have little straps on the boots that you can see here. And the zippers, they actually molded in the zipper thread and the cufflinks to his boots, which is incredible. The gloves, almost every crease to the glove is almost accurate to the freaking suit. Then we have his actual belt yet again. It's a little bit bigger, a little bit bulkier, a lot nicer. And it doesn't look as if, you know, it was a little bit shoddy made. Because one thing I did notice was, like, they did take time to paint each piece of the belt on the Fujioka belt. But honestly, this one has a lot more details. Or I shouldn't say Fujioka, the Takeshi Hongo version. Like, this one feels like they went in there and made sure every piece was fine-tuned to look very accurate, and like they didn't really just miss a spot when painting it. And it looks freaking gorgeous. The torso, my god, the different ways of, I guess you could say, pastels and mattes are just wonderful, and I love how it has so many different, like, shadings of green. Like, it gets black, it's dark, it's light, it's just gorgeous. And I love the zipper straight from the top to bottom through the breastplate and panel line. The back, a little bit more detail on, like, his pseudo hopper wings, and then his turquoise or aqua, like, helmet design for the shade of green they used. Really wonderful, really beautiful, really captures that whole aspect of being the first Kamen Rider. And the antennas, yes, are very fragile, but they do slightly swivel due to the fact that they do pop in and out and are replaceable. Honestly, this is one bitching design, and I'm really in love with it. I think this is by far one of my favorite Seihous outside of the double line, and I think outside of Decade and Hibiki. Like, this is probably now ranking up there in my top tier, because, I mean, he is Kamen Rider 1, so of course he needs to be number freaking 1. Let's now look at our points of articulation. We have our hip, we have our knee, and we have our thigh swivel. We have an actual ankle joint. which is on one of the cool little swivel ball joint hinges. We also have his toe, which is a little bit big and bulbish depending on how you pose it, but honestly, it's pretty accurate once you get the right, angle and right stance. It fits real well. It doesn't look too obnoxious, weird, and stupid. There is no, like, boot joint here like you would see in American toys. Just one static piece. More of the hip on the other side. You got your knee here. It is still double jointed, but it's well hidden inside the mold. It does look a little jarring once you, straighten it out like that, but it is pretty unique. You have your toe here. And you have toe the joint there. You also have your waist, and you also have your hip. Honestly, because of the weird, like, loose, I guess, rubbery plastic they use around the belt, it does make a bit of a sound, and it is kind of annoying, but you still have your double joint here and here in the ab crunch, and then you also have your biceps and your shoulders. Honestly, these areas right here are a little too loose for my personal, an opinion, but I still like the fact that the shoulders feel a lot like an Ultraman figure art, how it moves quite smooth, how its bicep joint works, its swivel, its elbow is a little too tight, so the full double joint doesn't fully work on it. And then you have your actual wrist joint, the opposite side, practically the same. As I take off the scarf, you have your swivel, elbow, wrist, then you have your neck. And honestly, I think the neck is really done real well. It's 3 pieces, I think, where you have a piece here, and then the scarf in the middle, and then you have your head on a ball joint, and it's really, really sexy. I just think that this is one well-sculpted figure, and it's evaluation time, and for my final evaluation, S.H.Figuarts Shinkocchou Seihou Kamen Rider Ichigo is one hell of a figure art, where I think fans can genuinely just get this to have for their current collection as compared to Takeshi Hongo, where I think you need to have more an investment in the overall series at hand. If you have a full investment in the original Ichigo series, the original Kamen Rider run, then you have a reason to buy both of these figure arts, where for most general fans, they will just want to get the suit itself, whereas diehards will want to get the character and the actual Henshin hero. Now, since I got both, I genuinely love, Takeshi Hongo, Hiroshi Fujioka, as well as his state as Kamen Rider 1. Honestly, I gotta say, for all the detail put into it, this is the penultimate figure art thus far. So far, all the previous versions, while they are nice and great, and I actually had to skip out on those, are still worth having in a collection. This is the one that, if you're missing out on those earlier iterations, you should go out and get. However, you could easily just pick up one of the other versions and go, there I go, there I have it, it completes my set, I don't need anything else. You have so many options and so many opportunities that you really can't, go and be like, oh, hey, I don't have an Ichigo. There's so many versions now that there's no chance in hell that not anyone has an Ichigo in their collection. And if they don't have one, they're truly missing out. And I'm not trying to say that the Kamen Rider First, or the Next, or even the Ichigo 2016 movie don't count, because they technically can count. But if you want one that's based on the original design by Shitoro Ishinomori, this is the one you need to get, or the other various counterparts that have been released for like the last 5 or 6, 7 years. But this is the one. This is the damn one you will not regret buying, even if you spend a little over for it. And the good thing about it is, if you missed the actual Japanese run of it, Bluefin Tamashi is distributing it to North America, so you shouldn't fret. I mean, I love it. I'm gracious to have it, and I'm glad I have the set between him and Takeshi Hongo. But, you don't need to have both to be fully happy with your purchase. So if you like Kamen Rider 1, if you like Takeshi Hongo, leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to me, Wheelchair21, as well as check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and over at HeroClub.com. I will see you all next time with another rolling review or possibly Doyle's DVDs.